Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're taking what usually feels like a giant bureaucratic maze and turning it into a super simple, actionable path for grabbing your South Dakota driving record online. I'm your host, and look, we're tackling a process that, frankly, trips a lot of people up. But stick with me, because by the end of this, you're going to know exactly how to navigate the whole shebang like an absolute pro. So picture this. Could a hidden, forgotten traffic ticket actually cost you your dream job, or maybe trigger a massive out-of-nowhere spike in your car insurance rates? It absolutely can. Literally within the first 10 to 15 seconds of an employer background check or an insurance quote, boom, your driving record is pulled. It's basically a snapshot of your safety and responsibility. And if there's some unknown mark sitting on there, you might lose an opportunity before you even knew you had it. We're going to make sure that never happens to you. All right, here's our quick roadmap for today. We're hitting Section 1, Why Your Record Matters, Section 2, Inside SD's System, Section 3, Online Request Steps, Section 4, Avoiding Common Pitfalls, Section 5, Maintaining a Clean Record, and finally, Section 6, Wrap-Up and Disclaimer. Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1, Why Your Record Matters. Because before we get into the how, we really need to nail down the what and the why. So, what exactly is this thing? Well, a driving record is the official document compiling your entire driving history. We're talking personal details, active license status, traffic convictions, accident dates, and any specialized endorsements you hold. And this single document is essentially a golden key. If you're going for a commercial driving or CDL job, this record is totally non-negotiable. Employers have to check it. But even for the rest of us, insurance underwriters use this exact data to decide if you're a safe bet or if they need to hike up those premiums. It's even used for general background checks and verifying your identity. Knowing exactly what's on this record gives you the power to fix inaccuracies before they actually drain your wallet. Moving right along to Section 2, Inside South Dakota's System. Now, if you've ever tried to get this document before and felt totally frustrated, believe me, you are not alone. There's actually a very specific reason for it. The hurdle we're facing becomes pretty obvious when you compare South Dakota to our neighbor, North Dakota. In North Dakota, you literally just log into an instant online portal, pay $3, and print a limited abstract right there on your screen. Easy, right? But South Dakota? Well, South Dakota operates under a strict, kind of old-school hybrid manual system. There is no instant online portal. Nope. You actually have to fill out a manual form, get it notarized, and pay $7 to $9. Honestly, it can feel a bit like stepping back in time. But, we kind of have to empathize with the bureaucracy here just a little bit. South Dakota legally treats your operating abstract as a highly restricted document. This whole structural design is grounded in some very strict data protection policies, mandated by both state legislation and the Federal Driver's Privacy Protection Act. The state is essentially putting a heavy padlock on your data to stop unauthorized harvesting. They really don't want just anyone jumping onto a web portal and pulling your crash history. So before you actually begin this quest, you've got to choose your prize. South Dakota compiles 3 distinct types of records. First up is the standard 3-year history, which captures your most recent 36 months of traffic convictions and accidents. Second is the 3-year CDL history, which adds in commercial medical certificate details. And finally, the big one, the full driving history. The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that only you, the driver, can request your full lifetime driving history. Employers and insurers, they're generally restricted to just that 3-year view. All right, Section 3, Online Request Steps. It is officially time to equip you with the exact strategy you need to conquer this system remotely, right from your couch. Even if you're a complete beginner with state websites, don't worry, this guide will get you through it. Check out our foolproof 5-step remote workflow. We're going to download the form, get it notarized, submit it, pay the fee, and finally, receive the record. Notice anything missing? Yep, creating an account isn't on there. That's because, unlike a lot of other states, you don't actually create a login dashboard for this in South Dakota. We're executing a digital paperwork flow instead. Okay, step 1. You're going to navigate over to the official South Dakota Department of Public Safety website. You'll want to hunt down the driving records page, which is under the driver licensing section. Once you're there, download the Personal Driver License Record Request PDF form. Go ahead and open it up and fill out all the required fields. We're talking your full legal name, date of birth, current residential address, mailing address, and your South Dakota driver's license number. Oh, and absolutely do not forget to check the box for which history depth you want. Now, step 2 is where most people hit a wall, but it's actually incredibly easy these days. Since you aren't doing this in person at an exam station, your signature has to be notarized to prove you are who you say you are. So how do you do this online? Enter Remote Online Notarization, or RON for short. It's a real game changer. You just upload your unsigned PDF to a certified online notary platform, verify your identity using your smartphone or webcam, and connect with a commissioned notary via a secure live video call. You electronically sign the form right there on camera, and they digitally stamp it. South Dakota legally recognizes these out-of-state digital notarizations. It's awesome. You literally do the whole thing from your living room. All right, moving to step 3. Once you've got that digitally stamped and signed PDF safely saved on your computer, you need to submit it to the state's processing division. You'll just attach that PDF to an email and fire it off to their dedicated secure inbox at dpsmvrs@state.sd.us. Or, hey, if you're feeling particularly vintage, you can actually fax it to 605-773-3018. So, what's the damage for all this digital convenience? It's exactly $9. The standard base fee for a South Dakota driving record is $7. However, since we're processing this remotely, there's a $2 administrative surcharge for running a credit card payment over the phone, which naturally leads us right into the next step. Steps 4 and 5. Because that email address you just sent your form to doesn't magically have a checkout card attached, you actually have to initiate the payment manually. Right after you hit send on that email, pick up your phone and call the state licensing office at 605-773-6883. You'll give the examiner your Visa or MasterCard details over the phone to pay that $9 total. And while you've got them on the line, the examiner will verify that they actually received your emailed form. You can then tell them exactly how you want your record delivered, whether that's sent back to you via a secure email, PDF, faxed, or mailed the old-fashioned way through the U.S. Postal Service. Next up, Section 4, avoiding common pitfalls. Let's do a super quick strategy session so you can dodge the traps that usually trip up complete beginners. First big trap, forgetting the V-notary verification. If you just fill out the PDS and email it without that notary stamp, your request is getting instantly rejected. Second, and this is by far the most common error, emailing the form but totally failing to call and pay. Listen, the state is not going to chase you down for your credit card number. If you email a form and don't call, your request just sits there, completely frozen in their inbox. Third trap is submitting an unsigned document. And finally, if you actually decide to skip the online route and just go in person to an exam station, be aware they have a strict cap. They only process 5 records per person per visit just to keep the lines moving. All right, Section 5, maintaining a clean record. Now that you know exactly how to acquire your document, we really need to talk about protecting the asset itself, because this is where the real value lies. South Dakota monitors your driving behavior through a pretty strict points system. A basic moving violation? That's going to add 2 points to your record. Something more severe, like reckless driving, hits you with a whopping 8 points right off the bat. If you accumulate 15 points within a 12-month period, or 22 points within a 24-month period, the Department of Public Safety will suspend your license. Think about that. Just a couple of bad decisions can push you toward a totally devastating suspension. So, what's the absolute best tip for maintaining a good record? Monitor it. By pulling your record using the exact steps we just covered, you can verify its accuracy and make absolutely sure there are no surprise points lingering from some old resolved ticket. And that brings us to Section 6, wrap-up and disclaimer. We've covered a ton of ground today, from understanding why the system is so strict to executing a perfect remote request via email and phone. Before we part ways, please remember this vital disclaimer. You should always verify information directly with the official South Dakota Department of Public Safety. Government procedures, fees, and laws absolutely can and do evolve over time. This explainer is intended for informational purposes only. It's not legal advice. So definitely make sure you check the official SDDPS website for the most current forms and fee schedules before you kick off your request. I'm going to leave you with this final thought. When was the last time you checked your driving score? Look, your driving record is essentially your resume for the road. Please don't let some unknown error cost you money or a huge opportunity. Take action, follow these steps, and master your own driving identity today. If you found this explainer helpful, share it with anyone who might benefit from this info. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll catch you in the next one.